No, I'm good. I was outside today for a little while. I think I may have got my face sunburned a little bit. I don't know if that's showing up or not, but yeah, lots of news release coming out of Sideshow this week with their Star Wars week going on, May the 4th celebration. I,
Yeah,
I was
dude,
real
there was tons of stuff. Mr.
I
Freeze is
was,
joining us here today too.
Yeah.
oh God, is he back already?
It's time
Time to
already.
kill.
It's
Oh
time to
man.
kill.
Uh yeah, I was excited, I got like, I don't know, 25 or $30 in like reward codes from Sideshow during their various programs this week. And
Mhm.
I was doing super well. I saw on a message board that they said they got $83 in rewards codes from Sideshow things this week. So
Damn.
I
Yeah,
must have missed something along the way, but
you guys
that's
were
ridiculous.
sharing lots of codes. Look at that holographic Iron Man, by the way. That's crazy. I sent that over Discord the
Yeah,
other
that
day.
was nice. I saw that. That was very nice.
Yeah, but
Supposedly that holographic Iron Man is most people's least favorite Iron Man. That and Neon Tech, the Neon Tech
because it's not
series.
die cast, I wouldn't imagine, obviously, with the clear plastic. The Neon Tech is just like Tron Iron Man,
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
We would be remiss to not look over some of these announcements and cover them here. Like we got the Clone Wars Obi-Wan and Anakin. Those were pretty cool. I mean,
Yep.
I told you guys like I wish I was like more of an actual fan of the animated like show. I like the show; it's a good show, but I've never been the biggest fan of the character models.
That's how I
So
feel.
like, eh. And I was telling on stream we had Dion join us here, who I got my Batman figure from.
That was cool.
My Hot Toys BVS Batman and the Justice League Armored or Tactical Batman rather. But I was telling him and Rick the most like thing that would worry me most about like these figures, like even though they're like super cool looking, they're super well done. Like they'd be great for any fans of like the animated series. Like these would be awesome. But I Sideshow hasn't announced that they're doing like this entire line. So like what if they never make any other ones of these and you just have like these
Yeah.
two like albeit cool Clone Wars figures, but it's like if that's all you get, it'd be kind of disappointing
Right.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So but they
I
had
actually
tons of good stuff. Did you end up picking anything up, John?
No, I didn't purchase anything. I have some codes that are expiring this week, so I'm sure I'll be putting some orders in this week, but, I was I was surprised that they didn't have I thought maybe there would be even some better sales going on. I really didn't see
Yeah.
too much for sale. Like, I remember back on their birthday week, I picked up or I pre or I payment planned a, Captain Marvel figure because they had it was like free shipping plus, like, 15% or 20% off the figure. So that was a really good deal. I didn't see a lot of sales. Like they were giving out a lot of codes and reward codes and stuff, and they were giving away a lot of figures for prizes, but I didn't see any actual like sales on the current figures.
Right. There's while we're here, we might as
So you
well.
are you
Ooh.
saying like when we're talking about the animated show, like you said you're not as big of a fan of the animated, you're talking about
The
like
CG
the
one.
CGI Clone Wars show, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But
This
but
one.
isn't that the line that you started collecting? Like, didn't you, like, start picking up, like, the Ahsokas and stuff from that? Or are you picking up the prequel figures?
There's a caveat to it because I can show you the perfect example actually just on this very page. The Hot Toys is doing real likenesses for their Clone Wars figures.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So
So
I'm
you're
getting those. I'm primarily sticking to the Clone Wars era.
just that time frame, not
Yeah.
necessarily that particular show or movie,
Yeah,
but
not the show.
okay.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, because I was even saying on stream like the show's good, so don't at me in the comments about the Clone Wars because I know everybody loves freaking Clone Wars. I like the Clone Wars. It's a good show. There's a lot of episodes though that were like not very good. Like the first episode is terrible. I don't care what you say. The writing is so bad in that episode. And like but the second episode's great with Plo Koon. Like that was a good episode. He's like stuck in space and Ahsoka and Anakin go get him, whatever. But there's just a lot of filler stuff in that and with Rebels. Like there was a lot of filler stuff.
Yeah, for
And like
sure.
it literally it's true filler where like you like is people confused what filler is? Like is if something is there that doesn't necessarily thrust the overall like overarching story and the main plot line, that doesn't necessarily mean it's filler as long as there's something there that's building like characters up. But there's so many episodes in like Rebels and that where they are just offshoot things. There's no character development. Like it's like a Scooby Doo, like Monster of the Week kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
where it's just you
Yeah.
could delete the episode and you don't lose anything. You don't
Yeah,
lose any
wouldn't take
character.
anything away.
Yeah,
The
exactly. That's
Separatists are
filler.
trying to take over another planet yet again, and the rebels have to stop them. Like it happens 100 times. I'm
Yeah.
only on season 2, and it's happened like 5 or 6 times already.
Right, and like it have nothing to do with anything. Like it's just like it's there. That's
Those
like
damn
that's
separatists.
filler. But yeah, so like I've focused on the Clone Wars era specifically just because it's like mainly because I can kind of cheat. Like I can get things that aren't necessarily directly associated with the Clone Wars era because it's like in such a particular point of time to where I can kind of expand it out. Like
Yeah.
with like I got Vader for instance. He's not technically in the Clone Wars era, but it is Anakin. And then if you want to, since there's so much carryover into Rebels, like that era, like Vader was in that show. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You get a lot. I can spend more of my money.
Right.
It's pretty much what it is.
You can
Okay.
focus when you need to, but if you feel like going outside of it, you can make those connections that
Mhm.
make it reasonable.
Yeah,
No,
'cause
that
in
makes
the end,
sense.
it's all Star Wars.
When you first started getting Hot Toys and you first started talking about it, and you said you thought you were going to focus on Clone Wars, I immediately thought you meant like the animated TV show. Like I thought that's what you were going for, because like that Obi-Wan that you showed me, that he doesn't wear that armor he only wears that armor, that look in the animated show, right? He didn't
Yeah.
have that
Mhm.
look in the actual movies anywhere, did he? I don't recall him having that
No.
look.
Correct.
Okay, yeah,
That's
that's his.
explicitly a Clone Wars thing.
Yeah, that's okay. That's him as a commander in the army fighting the war. Okay, cool.
Yeah, which
That's
is
what makes
why
sense. All right.
like him in particular, that's one of the reasons I really, really want that figure because not to mention, I'm gonna bring this up every time until I get these figures. Like Hot Toys, like we still be waiting on like all this cool Clone Wars era stuff. Like I need this droid, I need this freaking R5 here, I need Kit Fisto, I really need this Padme. All right, like this Padme and this Obi-Wan, been waiting on it for since 2019 at this point. Like we need to get this going. Because like now I'm gonna have this Obi-Wan, and or I'm not gonna have the Obi-Wan rather, and then I'm gonna get this Anakin, and he's just gonna be there by himself, man. He's just gonna be there by
Well,
himself.
and the biggest news kind of for Clone Wars era this week was Sideshow's reissue, right?
Oh yeah, I'm bringing that up. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I was just wanting to bring up my my Anakin here that my wife got me. That's it's not here yet, but it's gonna be here soon. But like, look at this picture, dude. Come on, this is what I want. This is exactly why I need my Obi-Wan Clone Wars figure. Look at that, dude.
Yeah, that's sick.
This is amazing. Like this is it. Like this is that's cool. There's no denying it. And that's the thing when you compare that to like I think I may have already closed it. I have the Obi-Wan up. Here's the Obi-Wan, and then you compare that to this Obi-Wan. Like I just prefer honestly the more realistic look, and the fact that I never cared for the character models in that CG show doesn't really help me want to get those other ones.
No, yeah.
Like,
I prefer the real look.
in Bad Batch, though, like I will say, which we're going to talk about episode 1 and 2 like later on in the show, I've actually really enjoyed it so far. There's only been 2 episodes, but there's still like the first episode was over an hour long, so it's been about an hour and a half worth of content, and it's been pretty good. And they've really, really elevated the character models in that show were a lot better. Like they still have that same general kind of like boxy, like weird kind of design, like you can see on the Obi-Wan head sculpt here. They still have that general look to them, but the textures are so much more HD, like that, and there's so much more detailing in it
Yeah.
that it actually like it looks pretty good, and like the CG environments look amazing. Like
Yeah.
ever since that final season of Clone Wars in particular, which this is kind of a continuation of that in some ways. Um, it just look incredible. Just the CG environments. It's kind of like a Toy Story. Like when you could watch Toy Story 4, when that movie opens up with just like the shot of the house and it's raining outside, like with no toys in the thing, it looked real. Like, and
Right.
that's how like a lot of the environments in the Bad Batch show looks. Like they
do.
just look
They
real.
did a good job on them.
Yeah, so it looks really good. That's another thing. So here's like the Clone Wars era mall, but they're still using Ray Park's likeness. So it's a realistic look on it. And I like that more honestly. Because then it kind of, like I said, it goes, if they were to have not done that, you'd be in that situation that I brought up before, where if Sideshow doesn't continue on with the Clone Wars line, you only have those 2 figures. Whereas with Hot Toys, using the the live action actors' likenesses for their Clone Wars era stuff, it fits in with more things.
Yeah, I like it.
You like the likeness,
Oh, yeah.
the real actor one? Yeah,
Oh,
it
for
looks
sure.
great. And they even took liberties with this Ahsoka. Like they have the Clone Wars Ahsoka, but they didn't make it look, boxy like the Clone Wars one. They gave her a realistic interpretation of the animated Ahsoka, because like, if you look at it, it looks nothing like Rosario Dawson or anything like that. Granted, this was announced far before Rosario Dawson was cast as Ahsoka. Would have been interesting to see it had Mandalorian came out already, if they would have actually gone ahead and used her likeness for this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
be kind of interesting. I'd actually be kind of curious if, now that it is out, if they would like a Sideshow exclusive one would actually have like a head sculpt. If you could like buy an extra. That's actually not bad. I might buy one. Like, as I know someone will be selling the Ahsoka head sculpt at some point, the Rosario Dawson one, or I could just paint my Bo-Katan one, right? Just make it look
You could
like
do that.
do that. But I think this looks great. This this realistic interpretation of Ahsoka, like with the Clone Wars armor, I think it looks great. But yeah, so. But of course, I will bring up the one thing I did end up purchasing something. This is kind of off the top here. So this is definitely not our main topics. We're carrying this out for a little bit. But I did kind of say off the top of the show when I was doing a little intro, it was a big week for collectibles, primarily Star Wars stuff. But I went ahead and got probably the greatest news that came out of the whole week, figure wise, was the reissue of a one General Grievous from Sideshow Collectibles here. So between this, ironically, these 3 kind of go together in a lot of ways too, but I was always the most bummed that I missed out on 3 figures, and it was Grievous, Dooku, and the Palpatine that came with the chair,
Yeah,
the
the
throne
throne.
chair. Like those are the 3 that like have really like I was bummed that that I never had like the BVS Batman or Justice League Superman, because like I just wasn't even thinking about collecting my this like Hot Toys at that time when they came out. So I was kind of at peace with not having those. But these ones were a little bit more recent. Like I just missed the whole like window because I just started collecting them just shortly after they came out. The Grievous was a little bit before then, but they were just selling for so much now, like post initial retail days. So it's like I was never gonna have them, and then boom, we get the Grievous, and this is a great figure. Like I'm gonna be, it's really big. It's gonna look awesome. Like I'm very excited to have that. But once I have that Maul and Ahsoka and Rex and then Anakin, then maybe hopefully Obi-Wan, I'll have 2 or 3 shelves, easily 3 shelves worth of just like Clone Wars specific stuff. But then I also have like Bo-Katan coming, and you could even throw in what's his name, Commander Cody even in
Yeah.
there too. Like so I am still focusing on Clone Wars in a lot of ways, but they would branch out a little bit. So that's why I did it. That's why I did it in the end. But John, out of all the announcements, though, was there anything that that you like kind of piqued your interest at all? Like, 'cause there was also like Mandalorian on
Yeah, the blur.
the blurg, yeah, and then the Bad Batch figures they released like previews of Echo. Like Echo's actually up for pre-order now, but they released a preview for Hunter. And I was telling Rick I'm going to actually be curious when it comes to, there's 2 other characters in there that actually have significantly different body types than the other clones. Like one of them's a lot smaller and skinnier than
is that
everyone
Tech?
else. Yeah,
Crosshair too.
yeah, Tech and Crosshair. No, this actually it's Echo. Echo's the smaller of the bunch.
Yeah.
And he has looks like he has a normal body, so I don't know if they're actually going to give him a different one or not. But what's his name? The muscle guy. Wrecker? It's Wrecker. Yeah.
He likes to smash stuff.
Yeah, Wrecker is a lot bulkier of a dude, so I'm wondering if they're going to use like
He's
a heavy
tall.
artillery Mandalorian body for him.
Possible.
But that's what I'm hoping they do, because yeah, they're all supposed to be like Tamora Morrison, quote unquote, but they're really not. They all are different sizes and shapes. Unlike the what do they call them? There's a name, the norms, or is that what they called them? Tech always referred to the other clones as something in the first 2 episodes.
Normies?
Was it normies or norms?
Something
Regs,
like
right?
Regs, yeah.
I think it was regs.
Something like along those lines.
Yeah. But yeah, all the regs, they look the same. You know, they all look like Tamora Morrison, just like in Attack of the Clones. But these 5 are drastically different in a lot of ways. Like even the faces don't necessarily all look like Tamora Morrison in a lot of ways. Like they do, but then they kind of don't at the same time. So, but John, I just kind of rambled on when I was asking you what you thought was interesting. Is it what did you think was like the best kind of like new release here that came out?
So when I first started buying Hot Toys, my focus was the Dark Knight series, and there's still a handful of figures out there, but I've mainly completed my Dark Knight series, especially with the re-release coming up of the Tumbler and the Bat Pod. So then I moved into Marvel, but I love the Mandalorian so much, I started to get into the Mandalorian too. I got OG Mando, and then I got Beskar Mando with Child, and the one figure that I never thought I'd see released was Queel, and he got at least shown, and like they're gonna bring one out, so it's gonna be hard for me not to get him because I just love that character. He's such a minor character too. It's like I was really surprised that he was ever appeared in it, but he was such a fun part of that beginning of the series that I really like enjoy that. The Blurg was a cool little like back in the day when I had my Kenner figures, like I loved having like the Tauntaun to put Han on and stuff. So having a Blurg seems like pretty cool too. So I'm really trying to figure out like can my wallet sustain diving deep into the Mandalorian on this stuff? Like I was able to hold off on Bo-Katan, but some of the releases this week were kind of is going to make it harder. But I think I've got some time to make those decisions. So.
Right.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was actually kind of shocked to see that they did a Queel. I'm trying to pull them up here, but for whatever reason, when you search for it, it doesn't just come right up. This is a YouTube
Yeah,
post.
he's under the coming soon section on Sideshow if you can get to there. But the other thing I'll say is like they re-released OG Mando. OG Mando just went out of stock like 3 or 4 months ago. Like I got mine right at the end of 2020, and I think I got one of the last ones, and they went out of stock. So he's only been out of stock a few months, and they're already bringing him back. And they're actually bringing him back with a flamethrower effect on him, which mine didn't come with. So I'm a little disappointed in that there's this new version that's got this cool flamethrower effect. But I'm wondering if I can't buy that aftermarket maybe at some point,
Right.
or if I sell mine and then upgrade to the newer one. I don't know yet how I'm going to handle that, or just be okay not having it, which might be the case. But yeah, and then they released another one that's going to be hard because it's relatively inexpensive, although it's almost like an accessory set, but they're also releasing a Grogu set with like the box that Grogu goes in, and like a couple of the little animals, the frog that goes with him, and like Grogu with a couple different facial expressions. And it's not that expensive. I mean, comparatively, when you're talking about Hot Toys, everything's expensive, but compared to a full Hot Toy, it's not that expensive. I think it's in the 150 ballpark. So I love Grogu, and I honestly, there are people out there that are complaining about how many Grogu's Hot Toys is releasing because like every figure that gets released, the Scout Biker came with one. Of course, Mando comes with one. I think there's a version of Ahsoka that may be coming with one. Like everybody's coming with Grogu, and people are like, "How many Grogus do we need?" Well, I'm in the camp that says no amount of Grogus is too much. So
Right.
I might look into that too. He comes with the new pram too. Like it's the updated one. So
Well, it comes with different head sculpts too. He has the 2
different head
expressions.
sculpts. Yeah, three different head sculpts. Yeah. So we'll see. They know how to how to entice me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just posted something on Instagram the other day where I said like they were milking the Grogu's for sure. It was when they announced this one because I had just right when
Oh,
they
yeah.
announced the Ahsoka from Mando, it came with a Grogu. That's when everyone started complaining about everything. I got too many Grogu's now. Like what the hell? And then they
Yeah.
announced this, where like essentially 3 Grogu's because you get the different head sculpts. And if you had Mando and Grogu, then Ahsoka and Grogu, you get this thing. You can at least put the heads on all the bodies and have all the expressions at once.
Yeah.
So you'd have that
It
going
would
for you.
what do they call, I think they call it something like, oh, what they call, there's a name for it. It's something building, like, um
Kit Bash?
no, like, when people buy a bunch of the stormtroopers, they say, they're like troop building, or I don't know, there's a phrase I've heard people use because I don't buy troopers, so I don't know, but, like, when they buy, like, 10 of the same trooper figure to build to have a scene of a ton of troopers, they call it something like something building, it's referred to, and, like, I'm Grogu building at this point.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
right.
my Grogu's hanging
Yeah.
out.
No, for sure. That's what like I was kind of in a similar vein for a little bit once Hot Toys released their Grogu because I had already gotten the Sideshow Grogu here. But then like Hot Toys released theirs and I was like so tempted to get it just because it was like more articulated obviously, but then it came with the different ears and you could move his mouth. So it was like definitely different enough to kind of warrant it, but I just couldn't bring myself to actually get it. Like, it was just like, I already have the one. It was the same price, and I was just like, I don't really want to do this. Like, no. But when they announced the Mando and Blurg, that's when I was like, oh man, because I know you specifically said that you were kind of convinced to get one, like sort of like you kind of convinced yourself to get it because you were worried eventually it's gonna be like gone forever, and like who knows if he'll ever do one again because he's really never gonna be seen in that armor again. And,
Yeah,
then they released this, and I was like, "Man, had you waited a little bit, you coulda got a Blurg with it too," which
right?
would just been
Yeah,
kinda cool. But at least they are selling the Blurg separate. So,
yep.
if someone already has the regular Mando, you can still get the old Blurg, and honestly, I think they're selling the Blurg separate because of Queel.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
in all honesty, because then you could have them both. Like, you could buy one just for Queel, or if you already had Mando, you can just buy it by itself. So I think that was probably a big reason as to why they decided to do it separate, because they normally don't do, like, the whole separate thing. Like, if something comes with it, like, that's just how it is. Like, they did the Nightmare 2-pack for, Snyder Cut, and they didn't re-release them individually. That's just how you get them. Like, if you
yeah.
want Black Suit, you gotta get it that way, which is kind of annoying, but either way. But nevertheless, Rick, I know you don't. Before we move on, I know you still haven't got a hot toy yet, and you love Star Wars. Did anything get announced this week that has convinced you to buy one?
No.
Like, no, still,
No. Yeah. I mean, they're cool,
still,
just not my thing, really.
yeah,
Price point is too prohibitive.
Yeah, and I don't have any room to put them. I don't. I'm not like itching to get them. I'll put it that way. I'm not gonna say like
Right.
no, I'll never get one, but I'm in no hurry.
yeah. And honestly, like,
I want like a Mando or something. That'd be cool.
you can get
Yeah.
a Mando,
Well,
man. They
yeah,
got those.
yeah, but
Like, they just that's what we're talking about now.
well, yeah,
You
yeah.
can get them with the Blurg. That's the perfect time to get them. Like, get that one.
Yeah.
Spend more money. It's only $555.
I was gonna say, I think that's more than my car payment.
Yeah, well, dude, I don't know how people. That's another story. I don't know how people like actually like buy cars and want to spend that much money a month on it.
Okay.
That's like more than some people's rent, man.
Oh, dude, I
Like,
used to work for Mercedes.
yeah,
The payments that I would see working there.
yeah. Then you literally are paying rent like for
Yeah.
your car at that point. So, but nevertheless, before we move on to our next topic, let us know in the comments section if you do collect the figures, which I'm sure if you watch our channel you probably do because we do the figure reviews and all that stuff anyway. So was there anything that you picked up during the whole fan week from Sideshow? It was pretty much just a bunch of Star Wars announcements. For me, the one I picked up, like I said, is General Grievous. As soon as that went up, I paid it. Bam, done. And I had like $50 off in Sideshow rewards, so it worked out too. I got it for even cheaper than I ever could have before. and it was like going, aftermarket pricing was like 600 some bucks. So I was never going to buy it for that price. So I was very happy that happened. So if there's anything that you got though, and you're excited about any of that stuff, let us know down in the comment section below.